Hello everyone and welcome back to our top 10 tips for buying a property in Spain. Now, I'm sure if you search the internet you'll find lots of different tips and tricks on buying a property in Spain. However, these are the top 10 that we have found the most useful for our clients. So there may be plenty of others and I'm sure you can add some to the comments below, and there'll be another video coming soon, probably with some more as they come up. But let's start with the first top 10 tips for buying a property in Spain. Number 1, understand what legal means. In Spain, unlike in many Northern European countries, US, Canada, Australia, etc., a legal property does not necessarily mean that it's legal for you to live in. So it could be that it is a legal nave, which is an agricultural building, but it's not a legal vivienda, which means that you can live in it full time. There are various different types of legal, so do check out our website to see the different descriptions of what legal is, and there'll be a link in the comments below. Number 2, know your area. Spain's a very large country, and we're based in Andalusia, and we actually get a lot of people who inquiry saying they're looking for a property in Andalusia. Well, it's such a large area that's impossible to help serve someone properly. So have a think about where you really want to be. Do you want to be on the coast, which could potentially be a very touristy area? Do you want to be further inland, which could be very arable or olive farms, for example, but you could be a long way from anywhere. Do you want to be in the city, the hustle and bustle and life going on all the time? Or do you want to be somewhere in between? So maybe half an hour from the beach, half an hour from a city, for example. Also think about the access you're going to need. An hour and a half drive, 2-hour drive to an airport is nothing if you're only going to travel a couple of times a year. If, however, you're planning on going backwards and forwards 7 or 8, 9 times a year, you may want to be a bit closer to an airport if that's the way that you travel. So have a really good think about the area that you want to be in and the type of location that you're looking for. Number 3 is to know your budget. The purchase costs in Spain, or the additional purchase costs, including purchase taxes, legal advisors' fees, and other hidden fees, which I'll talk about as well, can add quite a bit to the cost of buying a property in Spain. Now, we say in this particular area, it's always best to allow 10% of the purchase price on top. That's for currently, as we make this video today, 7% purchase tax, around 500 euros for notary fees, around 350 euros for registro fees, and legal advisors can vary quite considerably from between 1 and 2% of your purchase price, with a minimum usually of around about 12 to 1500 euros. However, one thing to look out for, unlike in many countries where this practice is illegal, it is still possible for agents to charge buyers for the privilege of buying a home through them. Now, some agents, in this area in particular, charge between 2 and 5% on top of your purchase price, which is why you'll often see figures quoted as allow up to 15% on top, because they're sneakily hiding their agent's fees in there. So do check very carefully any hidden costs. Now, I'm quoting that for Andalusia. The amounts do vary depending on which part of Spain you're looking at. So if you need any help on that, don't hesitate to pop a comment below and I can let you know the charges or the purchase taxes that are relevant for your location. But do look out for hidden costs and make sure you're fully aware of them before you proceed. Number 4, potentially this could be number 1, but they're in no particular order. Ensure you get good quality legal advice on the purchase of your property from a proper qualified legal advisor who understands the area that you're buying in. The area we work in here, there are a large number of off-grid properties, for example, and I have known lawyers ask us for electricity bills for off-grid properties that are completely on solar. Those lawyers are often based in other locations, they have never visited the property, and they don't know the area that they're being bought in. It's not just about checking the paperwork. The paperwork can look fine, but if you don't visit the property, how do you know if there is an illegal building built on the land that doesn't show on the paperwork? You just wouldn't know. So ensure you're getting the correct legal advice. And by correct, that's quite definitive in ensuring that it is very, very specific to the property that you're buying. So again, if you need any help with that, don't hesitate to get in touch. We can put you in touch with the right people in the right areas. But this is one of the most important top tips, is get the correct legal advice, not just any legal advice. Number 5, social media. Take what you read and hear on many social media groups with a big, big pinch of salt. This is in no way disrespectful to anyone that contributes to social media groups. Many of them are extremely helpful and have some very valuable contributors to it. However, what I see quite often is people commenting on one personal experience of their move. And that's absolutely fine. That is their personal experience. But more often than not, they will only contribute when they've had a bad experience. You don't often find people contributing to social media groups where talking about their good experiences and how everything went smoothly and plainly and they had no problems at all. So do look out for that. They can be useful, but are quite often have very bad advice, because if you're buying in one particular area and someone's experiences in another area, they can be very different, and the points to look out for, the types of things that can catch you out, can vary depending on area. So certainly use the social media groups for getting some general advice. However, be very cautious of some of the things that are posted in there. Again, if you want to know more about that, don't hesitate to drop us a line or subscribe, and then you can find out more as we put out more of these advice videos completely free to help you. Number 6, choose a good agent to help you. Now, I'm sure you'd expect me to say that, but I don't know who's watching and listening, so this is free advice to you all. Not all agents are the same in Spain. You may or may not be aware that in many countries, being a real estate agent is strictly regulated. However, in Spain, it is completely unregulated. So it's perfectly possible for you today at home to open up as a real estate agent tomorrow and start selling people's biggest assets with absolutely no experience or knowledge of what's happening. Unfortunately, this is what happens with a lot of agents, is they do just open up with no experience, no understanding of the market. Not all of them, by the way, which is why I say to choose a good agent. How can you choose a good agent? Well, there's a number of ways you can do that. Firstly, look to ensure that they are a member of a recognised and serious trade association with a specific code of ethics. Some examples of this are CIRA, the Spanish International Realty Alliance, and Realtor, which is an international alliance of agents who subscribe to a specific code of conduct. You won't be able to read it, but we have one here, the Código Ético de los Realtors, so the Code of Ethics for Realtors. Another way that you can help to find a good agent, or another way you can help yourself to find a good agent, is actually look at the content that that agent's putting out. For example, videos such as these, where agents are offering free advice, and on their website they will have, and on their social media channels, and on, for example, YouTube, they will have free advice videos to help you be able to choose the right property. They will be honest and open about the legalities of the property, and they will be there to help you at every step of the way. That doesn't mean you should fall for the friendly salesperson. Do check your agent out with the content that they are putting out long before you decide to contact them about any properties. Number 7, know your motivation. This might sound an unusual one, but there's a big difference in the type of property and the way you want to approach buying a property, whether you are looking at it for a short-term holiday home, a second home, or whether you're planning to live there permanently. Some people are buying property at the moment to rent out and gain an income from, but use part-time for themselves. That's a very different type of property and motivation for buying than it is, for example, for someone who wants to buy a property that they can visit maybe 3 months at a time, maybe 6 months at a time, and then leave vacant for the rest of the period that they're not there. This again is very different to having a permanent home that you're going to move to and live in full time. The differences between them are quite significant. So have a really good think about what your motivation is and what you're looking for. This ties back to the area, of course, but think about, are you very active? Do you want to go out to lots of restaurants in the evening, have a good nightlife? Or actually, do you prefer a bit of peace and quiet, but would like to be within a half an hour drive of the hustle and bustle? So have a good think about your real motivation for buying. Number 8. This sort of ties back to number 6 about choosing a good agent. And by the way, there is another video which you can find on our YouTube channel, which goes into more detail about finding a right agent and the right way to approach this. But let's look at number 8. This is talk to good agents. When you've discovered a good agent, pick up the phone or send a message and have a conversation with them. Just looking on property portals is not a great way to find property nowadays. It's a good way of browsing and seeing what's about. However, because there are a lot of not good agents out there, you will often find there's lots of clickbait properties which have been sold years ago, or even we've had experience of agents who have copied our photos and advertised the properties as if they're their own, even though they don't actually have them instructed. So the important thing is to have a conversation with the agent. This will give you a much better impression of whether that agent is helpful, is going to give you good and free advice, or is actually has a bit of commission breath where they're just, you can smell it down the phone. They're just trying to hard sell you into something. Don't fall for that. Have a conversation with someone. In addition, there will often be properties that are not publicly advertised. And local knowledge means that we know who's thinking of selling, who might be looking to sell in the near future. And that property could be ideal for you, but is not yet publicly advertised and may never be publicly advertised if, for example, the seller is using discreet marketing where they only want qualified buyers knowing about their property. So don't hesitate to get in touch, have a chat and find out more about what's happening in the market. It's very difficult to do when you're just looking online. Number 9, get your NIE. This is a tax identification number that you will need before you can buy a property, open a bank account, buy a car, pretty much do anything in Spain. So if you don't yet have your NIE, lots of sellers nowadays are not refusing, but saying they do not want viewings from people who are not yet in a position to be able to buy a property. Getting your NIE is not challenging, but it does take a little bit of work to do. Don't be surprised if you come over for a viewing trip and find that suddenly you can't view properties because you don't yet have your NIE. There are a number of ways to do this. You can apply through the consulate in your own country, or you can employ the services of someone who can help you. There'll be a link below for a service that can help you with that, and if you need any further advice or help, don't hesitate to get in touch. If you do not know yet what an NIE number is, or a NIE, send us a message and we'll send you a free information pack on what it is and how to get it for you. Number 10, know your options for transferring money. If your money is not already in euros, for example, you're not in the Eurozone, then it's vital that you get some help and advice on money transfer. Very dangerous to rely just on your bank to do a money transfer. This is often very expensive with very low exchange rates and high charges for doing so. You can see on our YouTube channel a link with an interview with a money transfer agent to get some more advice. But also with the money laundering regulations now, you can find, and I've been involved in a personal experience of this, where someone tried to transfer money themselves without any assistance, got caught foul of the money laundering regulations and was unable to complete on the transaction in the allocated time and ended up losing their deposit. This is not a good way forward, and it's certainly not worth taking a risk when you're dealing with large amounts of money. So do get some proper advice on money transfer. Thank you for listening to these top 10 tips. There are many, many more. This isn't an exhaustive list and is in no particular order. If you have any yourself, do not hesitate to add a note in the comments below, or feel free to send us a message and we will create a video with more detail on these. Please like and subscribe and visit our channel to see more videos, and let us know what you think. Are those tips useful for you? Thank you for watching. I'm Matthew from Lanneron and Orchard Property. Goodbye for now.